Another observable reality is in the animal kingdom ruled by the lions. Why are the lions considered to as the kings of the jungle and the lionesses the queens? It's probably because of how they operate in the jungle. Both of them have strength, but the male lions are more built. Both of them can hunt, but the female lions find it very difficult to protect the food in the presence of hyenas. Hyenas are never scared of the female lions. Sometimes the male lions have to show up and offer protection to the female lions as they feed. Both of them are territorial, but this is the fascinating distinctive difference. The males are primarily responsible for defending the pride's territory through aggressive patrols and defense against other males, and they are highly possessive of their territory, willing to fight to the death because they cannot tolerate other males using it. Is it not the same for the human male? That is why the most dangerous place for a man is to find himself in another man's house, territory. That is close to a death sentence. What about the females? They defend their territory against other females to protect resources for their cubs. The females are aggressive, but not to the same degree as the males are. The lionesses are flexible, that they even at times cooperate with neighboring females to share resources. And when it comes to mating, the female lions mate with the strongest lions to ensure that their cubs inherit superior genes. They also mate with different males in and outside the pride to confuse paternity, which increases cub survival against new aggressive males, thus preventing infanticide. Is this not the same tactic that has been used by the human female, which thanks to the DNA testing that now paternity issues could be resolved, prior to which the men had to raise kids that are not theirs simply because the women played the confusing paternity tactics? Is it not a natural law that the males are hypogomous and the females are hypergamous? Oh yes. Women want men who are better than them, taller than them, an aspect that is in line with statistics and in the jungle. What did God create here? Let's consider these spiritual laws. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 3. But I want you to know that the head of every man is the Christ. In turn, the head of a woman is the man, and in turn, the head of Christ is God. I love order, and I love spiritual law, and I love the fact that God is a God of order. This leads me to these 4 concentric circles of global order. In terms of source of knowledge, we know that human knowledge is purely based on a study of God's handiwork. This can be confirmed by the book of Psalms chapter 19 verses 1, where it reads, "The heavens are declaring the glory of God. The skies above proclaim the work of his hands." And then verse 2, "Day after day their speech babbles forth, and night after night they reveal knowledge." The green arrows are showing how knowledge is spread. Our Creator is the source of all knowledge. Then Jesus Christ, his Son, the perfect example of a great leader who paid the price for all mankind. And then there is the man, and then the woman. And then when it comes to ability, God is the source of all abilities as our Creator, and it reduces in line with the headship order. Verse 7, "For a man should not have his head covered, as he is God's image and glory, but the woman is man's glory." I looked at the meaning of this word glory in the dictionary, and this is what I found. High renown and honor won by notable achievement. Let's revisit creation. Genesis chapter 2 verse 7. "And Jehovah God went on to form the man out of dust from the ground, and to blow into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living person." This is God's glory. Then he gave him work. Verse 15, Jehovah God took the man and settled him in the Garden of Eden to cultivate it and to take care of it. Then he gave him instruction. Verse 16. Jehovah God also gave this command to the man: from every tree of the garden you may eat to satisfaction. And then verse 17, but as for the tree of the knowledge of good and bad, you must not eat from it, for in the day you eat from it, you will certainly die. And then God gave man his glory. Verses 18. Then Jehovah God said, it is not good for the man to continue to be alone. I am going to make him a helper for him as a complement of him. Okay. There are two words that have been mentioned here. The first one, helper. The dictionary meaning: a person who helps another person or a group with a job they are doing. Another meaning: a person who contributes to the fulfillment of a need or the furtherance of an effort or purpose. This clearly shows that a helper doesn't run the show. The second word, complement. Let's consider the dictionary meaning: a thing that contributes extra features to something else in such a way as to improve or emphasize its quality. No wonder the female comes with the beauty feature and the womb. And this leads me to what I refer to as the relationship clock. Let me show you the reading on the relationship clock. This is midnight, 00 hours. This is the time when the marriage relationship begins, the first day, the first hour, the first minute. But the minute hand to a man is reading 60 minutes. The woman knows that. A man has to earn his place to be a husband to her. She knows that a husband can provide. Now, every man has his 60 minutes different from another man to become and to have work. And that is also the reason as to why every man has his own "it is not good to be alone" moment. On the other hand, the minute hand to a woman is to read 0 minutes. A virgin, ready to submit to the authority of a man and to be a helpmate. The man expects that. And this is close to possible with youthfulness in a woman, more attractiveness, and less body count. This explains our attraction triggers between male and female. Back to 1 Corinthians chapter 11, now verses 8. For a man did not come from the woman, but woman came from the man. And then verse 9. And what is more, man was not created for the sake of the woman, but woman for the sake of the man. This verse alone helps us to debunk some of the views brought about by the modern woman that we don't need men. Since when has the male existence been for the sake of the woman? It is vital that we add a layer to the so-called social intelligence, because indeed, how can you interact with anyone if you are out of order yourself, if you don't know your place in the grand scheme of things? Verse 10. That is why the woman ought to have a sign of authority on her head because of the angels. Verses 11 and 12. This is where we get to the equality part, a very hot topic in the global arena, championed by women. This is the only place I know that equality is found. Verse 11. Besides, in connection with the Lord, neither is the woman separate from the man, nor is the man separate from woman. And then verse 12. For just as the woman is from the man, so also the man is through the woman, but all things are from God.